and I am a high school science teacher. I've taught for 33 years. This is my last year. I am retiring, finally. I have taught biology, chemistry, environmental science, genetics, and forensics. And I love biology. That's probably the one thing that I really enjoy most about my day that I do. I'm also a part-time pastor at a small church in Little Meadows, PA, and we have about 40 people that come to worship with me on Sunday. So that's what I do for like my real job. But at home here, we raise our sheep, chickens, pigs once in a while, a steer once in a while, turkeys sometimes. We have a big garden that we raise a lot of our food, and we're able to get a lot of the materials that we need to survive right off from our backyard. So that's me.
And I'm Sherri, and I work as a dietitian. I work in a hospital, I work in a doctor's office, and I work in 2 different schools. Right now, of course, they're closed. So I work with kids, and I work with adults and do a lot of different things to help keep people healthy and help them heal when they're sick and teach them when they need to learn something. Paul does a lot with the animals on our farm, our homestead, and I do more with the gardens and the raised beds, and we're starting to grow more fruit. So we have strawberries already, and we have raspberries, and we found some wild blackberries, which is pretty cool too, and elderberries, and we have grapes. So yeah, we have a lot of variety of things, and we try to preserve a lot of our food. And while we're home a lot more, we're trying to do a little bit more with cooking. So today we cooked. We made a few different new things today. So that was part of our adventures with staying home more. So that's us.
So I have some other questions that I think the kids would be interested in. When did you start raising sheep?
We've had sheep probably 14 or 15 years. And it started, there was a farm, organic farm at the bottom of our road. And I don't know how we got talked into.
I remember carrying these sheep home
we
to
had
the car.
Sheep in the truck. We had a boy and 2 girls at that time. The boy was brown or blackish color, and the moms were white. And we've been raising sheep ever since then. We usually keep 2 or 3 moms, and usually keep 1 dad for the year, just so we've got to be able to make babies for the next year, to have.
I forgot. One year we had so many.
We
had like triplets, and then 2 sets of twins.
One year we had 8 or 10 lambs or something like that, and they were just all over the place. They were just, and it was fun to watch them bouncing in the yard in the springtime. Just doink, 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 kind of all over. First time the mom has a baby, it's usually 1 lamb. And they can have a baby when they're a year old. So I just had one of my lambs just had a baby this year. So she was born last year, and she had a baby this year. Ewe is the name for the mom. Usually a ewe has twins, so that's 2. I've had some ewes give me triplets in the past. There are a few breeds of sheep that will sometimes, I guess, have litters, and they'll have 4 or 5 babies. But those have to be hand raised because mom just doesn't have enough milk for that.
How much yarn do you think you can make from one shearing of a sheep?
When we shear the sheep, we get about a garbage can full of wool.
Like the big
30-gallon garbage can. And that, if it was processed, most all of that would turn into usable wool. And I'll bet you could probably get several miles of yarn from a sheep. It doesn't take a lot of the roving to make yarn. Yes. So when you make yarn, it's only probably 10 or 12 little fibers that are wound together. And a piece of roving, which is about the diameter of your thumb, maybe. There's hundreds and hundreds of fibers in there. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look that one up.
We'll have to do it sometime and let you know.
Inquiring minds need to know.
how do they color it? I know you guys have colored some yourselves.
Kool-Aid packet was the color that you used, but we purchased some too, which we haven't colored yet.
Originally, dyes used to come from plants, generally. So you could, onion skins, for example, give you yellow. You can use marigolds to give you a yellow color. You can use goldenrod for a yellow color. You can use lilacs for a purple color.
Beets.
You can use beets for a purplish color. So lots of different plants give you lots of colors.
Probably blueberries, right?
Blueberries could probably give you some. So I think that's originally where dyes came from. The ones that we use, we have used Kool-Aid before, and that seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, that gives you the right colors.
Is there any part of the wool on the sheep that's softer than another part?
Like around their heads, isn't that kind
I
of?
think like around their neck is a little bit softer. I know different sheep have different kinds of wool.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some sheep, there's a breed of sheep called Border Leicester that is real soft. And you can tell it's really curly. And when you pet the sheep, it feels like a soft blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's others that are not so soft. So ours is actually a mix. We don't have any purebreds. So our sheep are they're mutts. They're mixes of, there's some Katahdin, which is actually a hair sheep. So Katahdin is a breed of sheep that doesn't have wool, it has hair. So they don't have to be sheared, but you can't use the wool because it's hair. So they're actually used for meat. So Katahdins are meat breed.
We've actually used more wool, probably felting.
I was thinking about felting because I learned more about the structure of the fibers from felting, I think, because they have like microscopic barbs, right? And
right.
Interconnect. And I was thinking about the sheep that had hair instead of the wool wouldn't have the barbs on it. Is that right?
Right. And that's true. So sheep's wool is curly, and these Katahdins that I had, the hair sheep, I mean, it's literally like hair. It's straight. There's no curl to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot softer because it doesn't have, like you said, the barbs on it. And that's why wool is so itchy when you wear it, because of the little fibers that are sticking out, those little barbules that stick out.
What do your sheep eat?
In flowers.
Hostas, and all of the new stuff coming up. And they love the chives, actually, in the corner of the garden.
They really love chives, yeah.
Yeah.
So every day they get grain, which has corn and molasses and oats and vitamins and minerals in it. So in the wintertime, they get more of that. In the summertime, they get less of that. In the wintertime, they get hay. They'll eat a lot of hay. And in the summertime, or even now, they're outside, they're eating grass all day long. We just open the door and they walk in and out of the barn. If we're gone for the day, we'll leave them in a pen someplace. But generally with us being home, we'll just keep them out and they just walk around the backyard. They go in the barn when they want to. They come out when they want to. But like Sherri said, they like flowers a lot. A lot.
Do you name your sheep?
No. No, not at all. Well, I mean, we do jokingly, we name them Lamb Chop and Speedy and stuff like that. But in my viewpoint, anything in the barn is what we would call a utility animal. And it's a utility animal because it has a function. Dogs and cats aren't utility. They're pets. So
right.
I guess the two options you have are utility animals and pets. If it's in the barn, it's a utility. It's going to be used for making eggs or making hamburger or making bacon or making wool or making lamb chops or chicken or whatever. So if you're in the barn, you have a purpose not to be a pet. We still treat them nicely.
Right.
You know, they're treated with respect and they get clean food and clean water and they get taken care of, but they're not pets.
If you name an animal, then you get attached to it. So.
Right. So much for letting me interview you so I can share this with my students.